Looks like a podcast. Looks like it.
It does look like it.
It's happening.
Wow.
This is now officially a podcast, everybody. Are you as excited as I am?
Oh, if you're saying everybody in this room, I am so excited. I can't tell you how excited I am. One, to be doing a podcast, but even more excited that I have Randall back from Florida.
Yeah, back.
My best friend back. You know, someone I can, I had nobody to call all week.
You didn't call anybody?
Hardly anybody.
Well, a lot of the people out there don't know, and when I say a lot of the people, I mean everybody but my family. You don't know that the Hustler calls me pretty much every day, and when he does, every single time I think that he's calling me for something, and I'll always say, "What's up?" And he'll say, "Just checking in."
Yeah, just checking in.
And I say, "Well, like on what?"
I don't know.
I don't have anything happening, but he always is checking in.
Oh, you never know. Well, you often get phone calls and things that affect my day, things that I'm involved
I
in.
have in the past.
Yeah, because of that experience I've had with you, I'm just always hopeful that you might have another...
You're waiting for me to say, hey, you should check in because...
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, I was away in Florida. I was in Orlando. I don't know... It wouldn't be my first choice to want to go there, but I'm not a holiday kind of a guy.
Right.
But I'm married to a woman who loves the sun, and she loves holidays, and she loves to do things in the sun as an expression of her free time, as a holiday.
Sure. So, that's why they call it a holiday.
Because you haul your family to a place.
Yeah. All in one day.
In a day. So we went down there, but that's not what I wanted to talk about today, although I will talk about, let's say, two elements of that.
Sure.
Actually, I just found the link between that and that.
Nice.
So while I was taking a voyage down to Orlando, you were also taking a journey, weren't you?
Oh, yeah. I had a few trips this week away from
But you said you went into a time machine.
I did go into a time machine. It was pretty amazing.
I think what we've done is we've created kind of a pattern where the first part of the podcast is where I pull stuff out of you, and the second part is where I expound on some detail.
Then I go, oh, you're so good at that. And then you ask me questions, and then I answer them. And then you expound.
I don't remember that I'm so good at that part, but what I remember is what normally I do is I'll try and pull out stories out of you.
Yes, you're very good at that.
Kind of preparatory to me, then just going on for potentially much too long.
I don't know about that, but
you
are good at asking questions.
So you said to me, first of all, preface, I got on a jet plane.
Right.
Did you get on a jet plane?
I didn't get on a jet plane, so we're going to play that game, are we? No, I did not get on a jet plane.
I traveled through time and space in a jet plane. And by the way, while I was in the airport waiting to go up in the plane, the guy standing over at the gate said, for purposes of trying to fit more people on this flight, is there anybody that wants to upgrade to first class for $75 a ticket?
Wow.
So I said, yes, there is somebody, and it's me.
Nice. Just you? Like just you?
Should I have let my family come on?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Did I screw up?
Look at Daddy up there.
She said she didn't care.
Oh, okay. Good. That's what wives say.
No, all four of us, we went up to first class. So I went over and I just said, I handed my credit card. I actually slapped it down on the table. I said, do this. Do it.
Nice.
$300. Now we're first class. Now you might say 2 hours. Who cares? First class for 2 hours. Who cares?
Right.
But I had my hips removed last summer and replaced. And I thought, this is my first flight since then. My first experience in, kind of impingements and travel and so on. I thought, this is a nice entry into travel. And here's the tip. It is awesome. It really is.
Yeah, I can only trust because I have never, ever traveled first class in my life.
I wanted to know if it was going to be awesome, and I found out that it's awesome. Really? And they do have a better life than we do.
Interesting.
Isn't that freakish?
It's kind of like once you know, now you're spoiled.
Well, on the way back, I did not have it, and I was fine. And it was a fine, perfectly fun flight in every way.
So maybe it's more like it's better to have tasted and have lost.
I think that's how the saying goes. It's better to have tasted and lost. But so here I am on a plane traveling through time and space. How did you travel through time and space?
Well, my time machine was slightly different. It was stationary. It was on the ground. I had to go down to London, which is about an hour and a half away from our hometown here, to experience something I've never experienced before, which is a MRI.
Magnetic resonance imaging.
Is that what it was? That's good, because I thought it was radioactive, and I was like, wow.
Many radioactive instruments.
And so that was just to check out something in my head. Of course, my greatest fear going down was they're going to find out what I really am. They're going to find out what I really am.
Yeah.
They're going to find out what I really am. But
they don't tell you there. They tell you at your consult.
And I was really thankful that I was able to leave that place without, people in lab coats and stuff coming and grabbing me and taking me to some science experiment. But that's a whole other story.
So sounds like a good one.
Yeah.
For another time.
Yeah, for another time.
Would you call that suspense?
It's suspense.
Did we just generate suspense?
Yeah, you're going to have to stay tuned to discover what I really am.
My spider senses are tingling.
Well, I'm telling you, man, there's just something real about that.
Okay.
That's a whole other story.
So you jumped in you jumped in this tube.
Yeah, and I was having a really...
Now let's back up.
Yeah, let's back up because I can't just to jump into it. So actually the whole day was quite enjoyable for me in the sense that I was focused on myself for a change. I had booked a chiropractor appointment earlier in the day.
You went to the chiropractor as well?
So not only did I go to the chiropractor, which I had a wonderful analysis by a doctor in town here.
Could you say who it was?
I don't know. Should I say names?
Yes.
It was Diana Gross. Is that her name?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Now. I don't think it's Diana Gross.
I think I know. That's why I was afraid
you
to
always
say.
do that.
Anita
Gross.
I apologize. Anita, thank you very much. I don't know why I called you Diana, but anyway, Anita.
She does listen to the podcast too. I'm pretty sure.
She probably does. And anyway, I have to say that was probably one of the best doctor experience I've ever had.
Really?
Because it felt to me what I imagine old school doctoring would be like.
Like hands-on. She's right
hands-on, like
around.
Taking the time to ask me questions. And she came to the same diagnosis as my family practitioner with the
that you're an alien?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, did I?
Oh yeah.
That was supposed to be at podcast 20. Can I just ask you to turn you down in my head?
Really?
I can't, but you are so much louder than me. Maybe maybe I'm just being very subtle today and you are being very excited.
But in my head it's balance, and that's like we both have the same mix. It's weird.
I can't hear my own voice.
It's got to be your Jack.
Yeah. I got Crazy Jack.
Yeah.
Crazy Jack.
Like just the Crazy Jack.
Crazy Jack is a guy from Clinton, Ontario. He played Santa Claus. We'll talk another day.
Really interesting. It's weird the synchronicity that happens in this podcast, folks. It's like crazy.
It's like Sting and Andy Summers.
Yeah.
So you went to the chiropractor.
I went to the chiropractor. And
this is really interesting because, ladies and gentlemen at home, the hustler never does anything in response to his health or his body.
No, I haven't been to a doctor in years, a dentist in years.
You had a tooth fall apart.
It's still just half a tooth.
I might add, he smokes cigarettes, folks. I don't like to say that out loud because it bothers me.
I know.
But he does. And I'm saying it here because now it's out there.
It is.
And now you're going to have to address it. What are the young fans at home saying? Well, I thought the hustler was a special person. He is, but kids, special people can smoke cigarettes too, and they can have their flaws. That's what we've learned today.
We all have our flaws. That's right.
And I'm sure I'll find one in myself someday.
We're searching.
It's a constant process. Be vigilant.
And she asked me that, and I told her that I smoked. And
I thought you were saying she asked you if I had any flaws.
Yeah.
See how that? I thought that was about me there.
Weird.
So she said, "Are you a smoker?" You said, "Indeed, I am." And she
actually threw her because she said, "Oh," or she said, "Smoker, no." And I go, "Oh no, actually, I am." And she goes, "Oh, I usually guess that one right."
See, because you don't present.
I guess I don't look like a smoker.
Well, you seem like you are more connected and grounded than that.
Yeah, I guess you would probably say you seem a lot more intelligent than that. Anyway.
Wow, you really took that to a different place than I was taking it.
Anyway.
But she gives you a questionnaire.
She gave me a questionnaire, and she asked me lots of questions, and she grabbed my head and moved
and you
it
felt
around,
like this is a nice feeling to be.
And we found a little tinge down in the back here, which, like when I've analyzed myself, when I take a step back, I kind of know what's going on. Like it's like I know that there's a problem. Right,
you've got an impingement on your
that's
nerve
just my gut feeling.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it wasn't a full blown treatment, but she spent a good part of an hour and a half.
It wasn't a full-blown treatment, so it was a half-blown treatment.
Yeah, it wasn't a treatment, so it was like an analysis. And
or partially blown.
I felt very comfortable and inspired, and I knew that what I got the feeling from her was that she wasn't going to just do something because I'm there and paying her money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's into it. She's doing this.
She was being real. And of course there's a joke there, but we won't go there. So anyway,
can I contrast something with you on the way back? Because you know how you and I are having parallel stories here?
Yeah.
When I was coming back from Orlando, I took all my stuff out of my pockets and all that, put it in these containers, and they went through the thing, and then I went through the metal detector, and you know what happened.
Beep, 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 beep.
I set it off, and the guy said to me, "Did you take everything in your pockets?" I said, "Sir, I had my hips replaced last summer."
Right.
And this is what he did. He said, "I need you to step forward."
I need you to take your hips out, please.
No, he said, "I need you to step forward." So I stepped forward into a cubicle that you don't see used.
Right.
There's a cubicle there. I stepped in that cubicle. I said, "Do I walk through here?" He said, "Sir, I need you to stay there in that cubicle."
Oh my goodness.
So I stayed in the cubicle. And the reason why this contrasts with what you're saying was a man came over he was putting on rubber gloves.
Oh my God, classic.
And I said, "Oh, I'm going to get a pat down." And he said, "Yes." And just like your chiropractor was with you, this pat down person was with me, very reassuring.
Nice.
And I don't care if he pats me down.
No.
I mean, I don't care what he does. It's his job, and it doesn't embarrass me to be
it's nice to meet people that
professional,
are good at their jobs.
And at one point he said, "Sir, I'm going to have to touch 1 inch from your private regions."
Did he say it like that?
Yeah, he said like this. Well, more like, "Sir, I'm going to have to touch 1 inch away from your private regions." Right. And I said, "This is fine with me. This is fine." Mm-hmm. And he did all his business. And of course, everyone in the whole place is looking.
Right.
As if to say, that guy's a terrorist. So he's, right, which is fine. I think I was the only person that I didn't see anyone else getting a pat down. I got a very thorough pat down, but it was the same thing as your chiropractic treatment. Mm. You feel like, hey, this is someone doing his or her job.
That's right.
This is very professional, and they're respectful. And
yeah,
I just thought, what an interesting contrast.
It was.
She was patting you down, and instead of looking for weapons, she was looking for where your neck or back is a problem.
And she
did she also touch your penis or testicles?
No, we were in that area at all.
Because this guy did touch me. He really went at me.
Nice.
Penis and testicles isn't a bad word, is it?
I don't think so. It's
genitals?
No, it's just like fellatio. Anyway,
that is a bad word, I think. You can't say that one.
Oh, wow.
Well, see, that one creates a family discussion.
Does it?
Mommy,
I guess.
Well, Tom.
I apologize.
Whereas mine is just
I apologize as I did the last time.
Mine's just body parts that...
This apology is similar to me saying I'm sorry for smoking. Anyway,
why is that guy with rubber gloves touching daddy? That's the sort of thing that we had to deal with, which is yours is a much more complex discussion.
I apologize, kids. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, too. Carry on.
Anyway, were we talking about pistachios?
It's funny you say that because I actually had pistachios.
Well, that's why I say it.
What made you think of pistachios?
Hey, man, it's that whole thing happening. Well, synchronicity thing.
Because I got some pistachios in
Were they
a bag.
The pink ones?
No.
Oh, good.
They were in a bag with dark chocolate nibs and dried cherry pieces.
Interesting.
And I said, because I'd blown, we had a little, I find out today it's a competition to see who can lose weight and get fit.
Wow.
Folks, I didn't know we were competing. I didn't know this.
We talked about this on FauxTech.
Then his wife let this out today.
Yeah,
she said, "Oh, how's your competition going?" Competition?
Competition. But you know what I mean. It's that if it's more competition, maybe isn't the best word. It's more of a.
I thought it was like a cooperative effort.
Yeah,
team building,
a team type thing.
But that's not what she said.
It's more like the same kind of competition you feel like in WoW.
Well, what this felt more like was your wife pointing at me saying, "Hey, fatty, how was your week?" That's what it sounded like. Hey, look, and then she poked my stomach, and then when her finger went in, she was like,
"Oh, good for you, at least."
Because you went to the gym every day, and what did I do? I went to the pistachio and chocolate and cherry bag.
Nice
every day.
Well, I did go to the gym every day, and I've been feeling good this week.
And your back is feeling better.
If you notice, I have a pillow.
You got an old man pillow.
Old man pillow behind my back,
awesome.
But it's really helping me.
Did she give you some tips?
She gave me some tips.
Try that.
She did.
That's nice.
The one thing I respected and appreciated, which I've already said, she wasn't going to just start treatment. She mentioned that maybe acupuncture might help me, which I'm interested and curious about.
I've had that there before.
Yeah, and
when I say there, I mean at that place.
Right.
Yeah.
And then she said, let's wait till we see the results of your MRI, and we'll have them sent over here as well before we conclude anything. And I respected that. I thought that's the smart thing to do instead of
not just start beating away on this.
Yeah, just don't start
hitting.
So so I'm looking forward to my to going back there. And she did give me a few things like where I can do this exercise right here.
That's a good. Can I look at you in the screen? That's the jowl builder too. That's
let me go. Well, that's the wrong one there.
There
so for those of you at home,
when you pull your head back, you look like your dad and grandpa.
I know. Look at that double chin. But anyway, you do this
awesome.
a few times a day. 5 of them.
How does it feel when you do it?
Feels great.
I'm gonna try it too.
Awesome. You should try it. Let me get your. Yeah.
How's that?
Let's see. Yeah, you get the double chin too. Yeah, it works. It might be good for our chins.
Listen, what you should know is, and I should tell the people at home, I've had this my whole life. I'm going to show you. I have incredibly rubbery skin.
Wow.
And I've always had that.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. Well, it's the wrong side. Look at this. It's always been like that.
Wow, there's a
you can do it anywhere.
There is a condition
beside my
there's a guy in England on Stanley's Superheroes. You might be interested in checking it out.
The rubber skin man. I'm kind of like that.
So speaking of rubber,
my costume doesn't fit very well. Speaking of rubber,
yeah.
Wow, was it a reciprocal chiropractic treatment?
It was awesome.
So she says, "Now you check me."
No. And anyway, if your children are listening, I know she has a 10-month-old as well.
10-month-old,
and we discussed that, of course.
Wait a minute, you said that why do you say 10-month-old?
I don't know. I said that last time. That's how I say it. It's not even
10-month-old.
10-month-old little
10-month-old would be a year and 10 months.
So we're just obviously we're not we're just making jokes here. We're not when you listen to this when you're
I think that calling these jokes would be a real stretch.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's just our way of talking, and we mean no disrespect to your wonderful mother who did a great job.
Who are you talking about? You're talking to her child?
I'm talking about her child who might listen to this podcast someday.
That fellatio part has got to come out. You have to cut that out. It's rude.
I'm sorry.
I'm twice as sorry.
I'm really sorry.
Look, okay, so you that was good, but then you got an MRI, and that's when you traveled through time.
That is where I traveled through time.
Tell me about this travel. P.S. I've had 2 MRIs, and I did not have a good experience like you had.
I had a wonderful experience. It was
explain that.
So I went down to the hospital, and I was feeling very chipper. Anyway, because it was
you sound like a British woman after the war.
It was very.
We're
lovely.
Dealing with the sugar rationing, and I'm quite chipper, and I feel positive about.
That's not a very good British woman's voice. I apologize.
That's how I felt. Very, very
chipper.
And it was a nice day. I was driving, listening to tunes.
Was it sunny?
There.
Was it a nice?
It was a nice, lovely day. It was a lovely day.
That's good.
And got the car parked and found my way. The best part about London University Hospital is you walk in the doors right there in the lobby.
Tim Hortons coffee.
At Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
So of course I
totally knew where you were going with that.
And then I found my way up to the second floor, which is where the MRI is, and go down all these long, corridors. And very.
It's like a labyrinth.
Sterile, typical hospital.
You don't spend a lot of time in hospitals.
No, I don't. So I don't like that feeling per se. Mm-hmm. But at the end of this long, long hallway was a receptionist who was, again, very professional and kind.
It almost makes me wonder, what were you expecting? Like a tattooed 19-year-old with a pierced face?
I don't know.
Kind of like chewing gum and telling you, sit over there. And
well, it's a new experience for me. So
wait a minute. No disrespect to 19-year-olds with pierced faces.
Oh, no.
And tattoos. Carry on.
Anyway, I sat for a few moments, and they let me use their washroom. It was very nice.
There are levels of detail here.
And then another young lady came in and said, asked me to come back into this through these doors
and take all your metal stuff off.
Yeah, as you might notice, my earrings are still out of my ears. Which is another interesting story.
I had to take mine off during the same week. Speaking of
It's weird,
synchronicity.
and I've got to get them back in. But anyway, I haven't missed them, which is interesting for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you thinking of making a change?
I don't know. I'm contemplating it. Though,
Wow.
Because I'm just not. This is the first time. Yeah, I might as well go into this story. This is the first time ever where I've taken my earrings out and forgot I'd taken them out. You know?
Wow.
And I look in the mirror and I don't notice they're missing.
This is intense.
This is going on 30 years.
I'm 30 years too,
Yeah.
and I've taken mine out 3 times.
So,
And-
do you get the same feeling though when you take them out? Like it's like you just something's different. Like it's actually an actual feeling.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
The way it presented for me was each time. I lied. I took them out for my MRIs too, 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Each time that I've taken them out, it's been putting them back in has been one of the signals that I'm done with something. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's always been that.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm done. I can go back to normal.
Right.
So that's unlike what you're.
Well,
having
it's
there.
actually similar in the sense that why I have earrings are all for significant reasons. Like you, that wasn't just like whim. Like they're always significant to times, moments, milestones in my life. And maybe it's the same thing taking them out. Maybe it's another milestone.
You know, I hate to go off on a tangent, but you know, I have an earring that's very significant, and it's a real commemorative earring for me as well. And for me, it's significant because it's commemorative of the time that I got my ear pierced.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of build up for that,
Nice.
wasn't it?
I actually pierced my own ears.
You did not.
Yeah, with a pin.
With a pin.
Yeah, at least a couple of them.
A couple of your ears.
Yeah, a couple of the.
Well, that's
the
all
ear
you have
holes.
is a couple of ears.
No, I have. Well, yeah, but I have 3.
Multiple holes.
3 holes.
Multiply holed. How did that feel doing that yourself?
Oh, it actually made me nauseous. And
Really?
it wasn't the pain that made me nauseous.
The feeling.
It was the feeling of this liquid between the skin. Like when you're pushing it through.
Right.
If you've done this before, maybe I just did it wrong. I didn't have an ice cube or anything. But you're pushing it through, and it's like this. It goes like this sound.
Yeah.
And then you can feel this like liquid, like this
Jelly
kind of stuff between your
I
the
feel
skin.
my lobes right now.
And when you start rubbing, it goes quick, 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 quick. And that sound and that all made me
Yeah.
kind of nauseous.
Now, why would you do it? Why did you feel that you needed to do it?
To have an earring?
No. Why did you not go to, Tina's fashion boutique or whatever?
Oh, I don't know. I think it was just
Save
it's
that
very-
$5.
Save the $5. Probably a part of it too was I was young enough. Maybe I had a little bit of trepidation to say, "Hey, mom and dad, I'm going to go get an earring." So
Right.
I just did it in my room and hope they didn't notice the safety pin hanging from my
Right.
ear. That kind of a thing.
Do you suppose there are some young guys that they do the same thing with their homosexuality? They don't want their mom and dad to notice, so they just do it in their rooms?
It's
I'm just kidding.
Quite possible.
I'm kidding, folks. I'm joking. I don't want my mom to know about my boyfriend, so I just keep him in my room.
Right. I'm sure, and not to make light of that pressure, because I'm sure even still today,
It's
some people,
listen.
and I won't even say struggle, because the only struggle is the one we've created.
It's a struggle for them because
It's
we've made
because
them
of
struggle.
us. Yeah.
No, it's not us. We're accepting. But
No. I mean, like humanity in general, we've made it very, very challenging.
You know that I had a gay roommate in university.
Yeah.
And when I say had, he is still gay. Mm-hmm. It's the had part was the roommate part. And he talked about this, that sheer trauma of coming to terms with telling his parents and everything.
So the serious side of your story is that I'm sure there are a lot of young men and women that who have that their sexual orientation is for the same sex, that have that kind of pressure and do feel like they have to hide
in the room.
Yeah.
It's too bad, eh?
It is.
And
It's
for
sad
us, it was an earring. How embarrassing is
Yeah,
that?
like how trite.
What did your dad say when he saw it?
He didn't care.
You know what my dad said?
What's that?
So I guess you're gay now.
Right, and that was back in the time when that's what people would say.
Which side
Yeah,
was it? How
right.
ridiculous.
I know, that's why I put them in both sides.
What I said was I
I'm
was
sexually confused.
I said that I was straight until that nerve got pierced, the gay nerve in the ear.
Right.
And now I'm gay. I said now I have an unquenchable thirst for man.
Crazy.
because of that. If I had never pierced my ear, I would have been straight.
Well,
And then he looked at me as if to say, yeah, you're not as funny as you think you are. And a lot of people give me that look.
right.
But I said, it's just an earring, Dad. Let's be honest here.
That's right.
You wear a ring on your finger,
And
I
I
wear
did-
one in my ear.
I did the same thing with that as well with my hair when I dyed it blonde.
I was going to say, you pierced your hair.
No, I dyed it blonde and different colors, and I would just
Really?
do it. And
But you were really...
I was a trendsetter, is what I was.
You're going to say transvestite. I would have bet money. I was a transvestite. You seem to be the kind of guy who's like, I got to rebel somehow, but I'm in a religious culture and it's very difficult to find these
Sure.
ways. So I'm going to really take these overt symbols.
Yeah, and at the time they were statements that way for sure.
Right. Yeah. You know
Part
what? No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely part of making a statement, and I think everybody goes through this in their own way.
A variation.
A variation of it, where you don't want attention for the things you're getting attention for. You want attention for
You want to be in control of it.
who I really am, And it's like it's like you put obstacles in front of people that they have to jump over to find you. And then you use that as rationale.
Hey, you're judging me. You're judging me.
To build up this feeling
You're not a real me.
of what's the right word? This feeling of isolation. We use that as
And you were trapped.
it's like nobody understands, but it's because we've created all of these walls around ourselves, making it really, really hard. I'm only going to, and the same goes for love and all that. I remember a time, we're going way rabbit trails here, but I remember growing a beard when I shouldn't have grown a beard. Like
When should you not have grown
17 years old, like that kind of a beard.
Chin strap.
And this is going to sound actually arrogant,
I love it.
but I grew a beard because I was tired of
Looking so dang good.
Yeah, no, it sounds so horrible.
People,
But-
did you hear that?
I was playing.
It was being used like a piece of meat.
That's right. I was a rock star. I was traveling around doing things, and girls were falling at my feet and saying you're hot and all this. And I was like, I don't want you to love me because I'm a
hot.
musician and because I'm so
I'm so
hot. So I'll show you. I'll grow this ugly beard.
I had the exact same problem, only it was reversed. It was the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had no girls at my feet,
Right.
or even at my arms or my hands, anywhere near me, and they weren't throwing themselves at me.
Well, I think it's fair to say that both of us have come to terms with our incredible good looks.
Each other's, or our
Just
own,
collectively.
in and of ourselves.
Yeah, in and of ourselves, that we don't need those crutches anymore.
I look at the monitor right now over there, and I'm really disappointed. Let's just look at it. Look at it.
Oh, I think you look great, man.
I don't think.
I mean,
this
compared to the guy behind you.
That's for folks at home. Let me use the right hand. That is the guy in the period we're talking about.
Yeah, they probably can't see it very well. If
Well,
you want to hand it over, we could put it in front of the camera. That
Let's
doesn't
just go
matter.
like that. There he is.
Actually, you can check that out on my Facebook. It's in my profile if you're friends.
The hustler in his youth, Mark in his youth. So what I was trying to get at with the earrings, and this is classical Lob versus Hussey. You do things for meaning,
Right.
and I do things for the dumbest reasons.
But-
you know why I pierce my ear, don't you?
To be cool?
Nope. No.
I don't think I know the story.
Because when I was little, I envisioned myself having a shaved head
Right.
and a goatee and an earring and being a pirate.
Well, it's because I was going to say it's because you wanted to be a comedian and you loved Howie Mandel, and you had no idea.
I
that
never liked Howie Mandel.
30 years from then, he would be bald and
Is he
have
like
an
that?
earring and have a goatee.
Is he like that?
Yeah, he's exactly what you wanted to be.
Did he not used to have big curly hair?
He used to, but now,
Yeah.
Howie
If he had
Mandel.
that voice like this, right?
Howie Mandel was
Wasn't that part of his act? His voice?
right. I remember that. I saw Howie Mandel once in the place that you were just last week.
Florida.
I saw Howie Mandel at
I said 2 syllables.
MGM
Florida.
Studios, I guess.
Right. You saw him.
Yeah,
you saw
he-
his show.
He would no. He was being interviewed.
I think it's called Disney Hollywood or
I
Hollywood
don't know.
Disney or something.
I think
now.
it was just MGM Studios at the time.
MGM has retracted their sponsorship of it, I think.
Right.
Or something. Yeah, I never have meaning for the stuff that I do. You always have meaning. I feel like I'm random. What are you looking up?
I just wanted to, for the folks at home, real quickly.
Oh, you're right. You are 100% right. Oh my God.
This is what Randall Lobb hoped.
It looks like Peter Gabriel. He looks exactly like Peter Gabriel.
Yeah, he does. I mean,
like
Peter Gabriel
exactly
has that look as well. So is that what you dreamed of? I don't see his earrings, but I'm pretty sure he has earrings.
I want you to, since you're there, just search pirate.
My schedule, like maybe a day in advance.
Pirate.
Yeah, just search pirate.
It's
And see, like when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a pirate.
Kind of like this, maybe.
Let's go! All aboard! Come aboard, you little bugger.
Maybe the woman in pink.
Do what you want, because a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
That is brutal. you have to turn that off now, I think.
Oh, we're fading out, man. Fading out.
That was brutal.
That was pretty crazy.
That was brutal. No.
No, we've gone on some rabbit trails here, haven't we?
There was a pirate that I had in my mental construct of what that would be, and I always thought that would look cool. So I always just wanted an earring for that purpose.
Right. So
no purpose, in effect.
Right. That's cool.
Anyway, so you're in the MRI.
So I'm in the MRI. I got to take off my pants and put on some pajamas, which were very comfortable.
Did you go commando, or did you keep the underwear on?
I kept my underwear on.
Did you ask if you could take them off? Because that always would be funny to say. Can I take my underwear off? For
No,
this?
I didn't. I wasn't sure if I had no idea. Of course, like, am I going to have to lay in this thing naked or what? And the only
would
reason
be
I had to
funny.
take my pants off is because I had a zipper.
Studs. Yeah.
So,
Studs.
and then there was another waiting room to wait in. So
the
I got
preliminary.
changed.
Did
and I
they
had
come?
my
sorry.
iPhone, and
Did they come in and say, "Are you claustrophobic?"
they did ask me that. I said, nah, I'm not worried about that. And I had a Tim Hortons coffee going that I'd purchased downstairs.
Did they say you could do that?
Oh yeah, not in the MRI.
They asked me before I went in, "Are you afraid of?" Well, they said, "Are you claustrophobic?" And I said, "No, I have a phobia about widths." And she took me at face value. She said, "What do you mean?"
It's very.
I said, "I'm afraid of widths. Like, I don't like to be in anything that's really wide."
That's funny.
Yeah. She didn't laugh, as most people don't. But I enjoyed it. So you go in.
Yeah, so I go in, I wait. It was, just relaxing, read some stuff on my iPhone. I started seeing these big signs at that point, looking around and going, I don't think it was danger. It was just statements. There are huge magnetic fields in this area. And I did realize that my iPhone wasn't working the same.
Really?
Yeah, like it was really slow, and it would like say I had full bars, but it wasn't connected. Like it was just so I ended up just turning it off, thinking, magnetic fields, something going on here. I guess I can't take it in and listen to a podcast.
Right.
I was kind of like I was actually waiting to ask, like, is it okay if I work?
Oh my God, no, that would not be allowed.
That probably isn't going to be the case. So anyway, I go in. The lady was very kind. She let me leave my coffee close by so nobody would steal it in case I won a car.
Well, there is a lot of coffee theft that happens at the hospital.
She was, I didn't want to put it in my locker. I had a locker for everything else, but I didn't want to put the coffee there. I just thought it was weird. And I laid on this bed type thing, and they put earplugs in my. I put earplugs in my ears, and then these foam things to keep my head still. And then she said, "Are you ready?" She said, "This is going to last 40 minutes." And she said, "You ready?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And all of a sudden,
bring it. How deep in did you go?
It like all the way in.
Yeah.
And it at first when you go in, it's so narrow, like unbelievably narrow.
Yeah.
And it was. I'm not claustrophobic, but I was definitely very aware. And it actually felt 3D for a second. Because I had this thing.
It is 3D.
I had this thing right. But it felt like enhanced 3D. Like you would see with like if you had glasses on, you're at a movie theater.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, where it's hyper 3D. Like it's more like when something comes at your face.
What seemed like it was 3D?
It was like the lights and everything that as I was moving in.
Right.
It all just felt like there was multiple dimensions to it.
Interesting.
And so anyway, I got comfortable, and all of a sudden, all of these noises start and things.
It's
like
very
that.
loud.
It's very loud, but it wasn't as loud as I expected because she kept saying it's very loud. So it was definitely not as loud as I anticipated
Interesting.
at all. In fact, I really enjoyed the sounds. Like it was like the spaceship sounds.
It's the stuff that you like cannot be imagined. Really enjoyed the spaceship sounds.
And the most surprising part to me was when all of a sudden I'm moving out and she says, "You're done." And I'm going, "What? You said it was going to be 40 minutes." She said it was 40 minutes. And that's why I say the time machine thing. Because
That's really strange.
It felt like 5 minutes. I was going to say 30 seconds, but that's exaggerating.
That seems crazy.
But it felt like 5 minutes.
So you think you fell asleep?
No, I didn't fall asleep. I know I didn't because I was conscious of everything happening. You know, there was times where
It's weird.
I felt like I was just shooting down this tunnel, like where I'm laying on that thing, and I felt like I was on a bobsled, just going backwards. Like
I know exactly what you're saying, and that made me feel so sick.
and I enjoyed that.
That's horrible.
And I felt,
I'm sorry about that, sibilance. That was so horrible. Okay? Let me just jump in. With
yeah,
mine.
you do. So you had an MRI.
Yeah, I've had two.
Yeah.
I'm like you. I had to get checked for something bad
Right.
in my head. So I have a disease called Meniere's disease, and I went in, and I had vertigo before I went in, and they said, "Are you claustrophobic?" And I made a joke,
Right.
Because I didn't know that I was claustrophobic.
Right.
But guess what? I'm claustrophobic.
Really?
But I'm only claustrophobic, I think, insofar as if I'm held in. And I didn't remember this before I went in, but I have a recurring dream that I might have mentioned to you. And I have this dream probably, it could be as often as every month.
Right.
Sometimes I have it multiple times a week, and sometimes I go, several weeks and I don't have it. But in my recurring dream, I'm in one place and I have to get to another place. And it's usually in a house and there are these rooms. And they're typical rooms. But I'll realize that the door to get to the other room is tiny.
Right.
And it's low. And so I'll go down and start going through, and it's also angled so that as you go in, it goes in, and then there's a jog to the right, and then it jogs immediately to the left. So you have to get around this corner or up through a space and down through a space. Like there'll be like a multiple twists and turns, and it'll get tighter and tighter. And as I'm going through, it's very difficult. And I break out the other side, and I'm so relieved. And then when I'm on the other side, I realize I have to go back. And this will happen 3 or 4 times in the dream that I'll have to keep going back and forth. And so all this hits me when I'm in the device.
Right.
And I start going into vertigo. And so when you're in vertigo, you feel like you're falling, but you also feel nauseous. And when you have Meniere's disease and you go into vertigo, you have this response that I guess it's panic.
Right.
You don't feel like, hey, I'm panicking. Your body does panic.
Right.
It's on its own.
Right.
So I said, I have to come out.
Right.
She had to pull me
Did you
out.
have the little squeeze ball? Yeah, to squeeze the ball.
But the thing that you described as good, like that, that feeling, that was the pulsations of that dictated the flow of my vertigo.
Right.
So it's in your ears, this
Right, of
disease.
course.
So it made it worse. So I was like vertigoing on this pattern.
Right.
And I had to come out, and I couldn't sit up. Like when you have vertigo, if you sit up, you get dizzy and you can get sick or whatever. So I said, I can't sit up, but I have to come out. And I started to breathe, and then I had to go into this vertigo trance that we get. People who have it, I shouldn't say people who have it, because I have it. I don't know if other people have it. So I went into a trance, and it took me a while to get into the trance, and they put me back in, and I just kind of was in this space where I had the exact opposite of you. 40 minutes felt like a day. And I was just in this trance where I was gritting my teeth and fighting.
Wow.
And like every muscle totally rigid and feeling like this, I'm going to break through this thing. Like it's so tight to your arms. Now here's the question. How does a fat person go in there?
No kidding.
It's so close to your
I don't
face.
think they could. Like seriously.
I couldn't believe it.
I don't know. Like they really couldn't, because I'm thinking that very thing. Like if
It's
I was any
amazing.
bigger, this would be uncomfortable.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's crazy.
But it ended up being very, very relaxing and kind of like it's
so
a small.
crazy.
It's like the pirate.
No, it was
ride.
not.
It was like the pirate ride at Disney
You're
World.
kidding.
It was that enjoyable for me. And not only
That
because
doesn't make any
of
sense.
like the relaxation and the rest that I have, but I had these flashes and visions of like I saw clouds and I saw space and I saw stars and it was like I was traveling in another place. And I mean, of course I'm aware that there's this huge magnet, so maybe I'm like,
You're gonna make
yeah,
a hustle science moment here,
no,
aren't you?
maybe I'm just making it all up, like, because I'm aware of the magnets and
Right.
and all this kind of stuff. But I actually gave myself to it. Like I just said, I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to just
Ride it.
totally just like empty myself and have no thoughts.
Did you empty
Oh,
yourself
man.
in there?
Yeah,
That would be a
that
mess.
was gross. But I really had some really nice visions that I won't get into.
What's the best vision? Just say the best one.
It was just lots of beautiful colors and lots of beauty. It was very pretty. I know. it
Once
sounds
again,
crazy.
the difference between the hustler and the lab coat guy is I go in and fight and grip my teeth, and every muscle is rigid. I'm locked. I'm trapped in my head, battling something inside my head.
Yeah.
The hustler goes in and travels through space and time.
Oh, it was
on peaceful clouds.
It was lovely.
That is a perfect description.
And
of
of
us.
course, I mean, when I walked out of there, I had a spring in my step.
What was your heart rate when you were inside?
I think it was fine.
Your heart didn't beat faster. You didn't
I should
have
say
anything
also
like
while
that.
I was in there, I could feel the hairs on my arm and my body, like it was like like the magnets were affecting it.
I knew you were going to say
I know, but
hustle science.
I have no idea.
He has hustle science.
Like imagine a warm breeze blowing through flowing grass.
right,
That was my chest
Right.
hairs. No.
right. You should have asked to be nude. Then you could have been more
My
at peace.
God, imagine.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it would be great.
I did leave there feeling, again, these guys,
You
very-
could have offered to pay extra.
Yeah, I could have paid for that ride. Like, why don't they charge for it? It was
Yeah.
great.
If you let me ride this nude, I'll give you $50. So you loved it. You came out. You felt energized. And then did you go somewhere and eat some nice food?
No, I just headed straight home.
Classic. That's-
Straight home.
Again, classic hustler.
Yeah, I was like, why stop and do that? I just
Classic hustler.
rolled my window down, drove, and
What do you think I would have done when I came out?
oh, you would have treated yourself to something.
Because I would have gone through this hellish torment. And well, I got to have some sushi to make this
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, to make this trip worthwhile.
Okay, you see, sometimes I feel like your life is, you live in a place where there are extra dimensions of fun and goodness.
I think everybody does if we either I get
That pause was just about
Well,
long enough to be uncomfortable.
I know it's like I was going to say if we open ourselves up to it, but that's not really true. I don't think.
so basically, I'm closed
No,
off to it.
exactly. That's why
you stopped. That's why you stopped.
because I knew what the next
because it's
comment
my
would
fault.
be.
The reason why you
No,
can't
and
see the
it's-
spirits is because you scare them
And
away
I don't
with your
believe,
skepticism.
I obviously don't believe that.
The reason why you never get abducted by aliens is because you're out there trying to get abducted by aliens. Everybody knows the only people who get abducted by aliens are the people that don't want to get abducted by aliens,
Right.
but who are open to it.
But I think with any experience, it is
Right.
a lot of it does have to do with how you're feeling going into it. I'm sure other people going into an MRI, it's like hellish. Not
P.S.
even because of the experience of the MRI, but
Well, the
because
tension about what they're going to
of
find.
exactly
Yeah.
the fear of that.
I had, before my MRI, I felt great about it. I was looking forward to it because I'd had CAT scans,
Right.
and they were nothing,
Right.
even though they're 100 times more radiation than
Right.
an X-ray. So I laid in the CAT scan, and I thought, this is kind of cool. I wonder how many cats there are.
Right.
I know, I'm low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can you cut that part out?
No, it's staying. No editing.
We're edit free.
We're edit free.
Well, do we want to cut it so it's under 45?
Oh, that's fine. I think we've had a good discussion.
I really think we've discovered a lot about MRIs.
We have. We are much more knowledgeable about MRIs. What
People-
I can say to
people are
people is don't be
sensitized.
afraid of the MRI. In fact, don't be afraid at all. Just
Hustlers, just ride it.
ride it.
Ride it.
that. Ride
and,
that MRI.
And my comment is grit your teeth, clutch your hands together as tightly as you can, sink deep into your own pain and stew in it for the 20 minutes that you're in there, 40 minutes that you're in there.
and
And
I
just
mean,
fight it. Fight it with every fiber of your being. Count backwards from 1,000. Whatever it takes, do that.
Yeah, whatever it takes, folks, to get through the day.
But you get through it.
Yeah, we do.
And you come out the other side.
We always do, and that's the thing to remember, no matter what.
You have to remember that when you're in there, you have to think, I'm going to get out of here, and it's going to be whatever happens. I just have to deal.
That's right.
Next podcast next week. I have a great subject based on this week. That's like part 1, part 2.
Sounds good.
It's exciting.
Should we leave it as a surprise?
Yeah, well, people already love the suspense from before.
Well, yeah, and plus, I don't like to know till you sit down in that chair.
That's right.
So,
well, what a lot of the fans at home don't know, that people don't know, is I have a master plan for all of the podcasts that I write them out and I structure them and I basically ask you questions and give you comments that lead you to where I want you to be anyway.
that's right.
So
It's to be determined where I'm going to be.
You're like a cork
year from
floating
now.
on the ocean.
Yes.
Wherein I am the ocean, or my plans are the ocean.
Wow, that's deep.
The ocean is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Very.
a poor little cork. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming out. I want to say, turn the treadmill up to 5 and run it hard.
Yeah.
Bye.
Later.